Miranda, and today I am here to discuss the second episode of A Court of Fate and Flowers, which is the new season in Dimension 20, and my oh my did this episode have quite a lot going on. So the interesting thing about this season, it's only been 2 episodes, but it just feels so completely different from any other season that they have done before, in that fighting in terms of like PvP or just like player versus the villains is not a big priority. Like, I know they had the fight against the Heart, obviously, but it's just, it doesn't feel like your run-of-the-mill D&D game. It's more Regency, obviously, and it's more focused on reputation. So I am just so intrigued to learn more about all of these characters, and boy was this episode a doozy of teasing us about secrets that we don't know about, but that we now know exist. Like, we don't know what the secrets are, but we know that there's something going on. So the big thing surrounding this episode, the big event, was the Great Hunt of the Heart, which of course, if you know anything about Fae, like, they love hunting down some stags, you know? Like the scene in SpongeBob where he wants to go and hunt the jellyfish, like, intensify that by 10,000, and that's these Fae when they get something in their sights that they can hunt. But before we got there, Abria introduced one of her mechanics of the game, which is when you get to write up to 2 letters of your choosing to any character, NPC or PC. It's also very funny because I feel like in general with D&D games, like, you're always very aware of, like, if I'm being stealthy, if there's people around hearing stuff, just because you don't want your plans to be ruined. But now it's also more like, okay, if someone hears this, this could be used against me. And it's also interesting because I think a lot of the players are making it a choice in their character to not hide things, and that makes me think of, are they intentionally not trying to hide things, or are they, as like the player, knowing that like, hey, I should hide this, but my character wouldn't think to hide this? And I'm specifically referring in this case to Gwendolyn Thistlehop, because I've got my eye on Gwendolyn. I mentioned at the end of the last episode that I wouldn't be surprised if she turns out to be just something completely different than this kind of act she puts on of like the Tinkerbell-esque pink bubblegum fairy, you know, that's so happy and just loving life all the time. And we got to see a bit more of, or at least what she presented us as a bit more of, when she made a walk with Captain Hob and was explaining that, you know, she doesn't agree with everything that her court has done, and kind of separating themselves and thinking of themselves as better than other fairies. And the thing that really moved Hob, which again, I'm like, is she genuine in this, or is she just reading him and knowing what would like affect him the most? Because even when Brennan rolled an insight roll, he didn't roll high enough to know if she was telling the truth or not. But she doesn't feel the way that the other people feel, and she feels that they kind of got the short end of the deal. And something that has happened, I don't know what exactly the thing that's happened, I'm assuming it's the breakup of the engagement, but she feels bad that they were slighted in that way, and seems to be the only one that is really talking about it. Because the funny thing is, this engagement is such a big deal for the Goblin Court, but no one else really seems to be talking about it or anything like that. And I absolutely loved when Hob was going to ask her if she had heard anything or known anything in particular about Rue being involved in calling off the engagement, and Rue stepped in immediately and was like, hi, how are you guys, what's up? Like, that was so perfect and exactly how that would go in real life, right? Like, you're just kind of always got your eye and your ear on someone. But it's also curious if Rue really did have a hand in stopping the engagement and what exactly that would mean, especially because Rue and Hob had a super cute moment together where I don't even know what fully was going on. Like, it just seems like Rue wants love or wants affection or something like that, and thought that Hob was giving it to them. And then when Hob was just kind of like, oh, like, it's more practical this way, right? Like, they were really crushed by that, and Hob seemed to really take that to heart, that he had hurt them. It was just a very interesting moment, because those are probably the 2 characters I would have least expected to end up in a romantic entanglement, if you could call it that. But as they were talking, I think they did a really good job of it, and I was just kind of like waiting for them to kiss. Like, it was super cute, and it would be an interesting kind of enemies to lovers kind of thing if the case is that Rue had a hand in stopping the engagement, that Brennan's character is so, you know, feels dishonored by that happening, and that the goblins are obviously here to rectify their thing, because now we know too, something with Boy on Blemish have a mission that involves Gwendolyn and getting her involved somehow. And I know she works for the court, or she is the Court of Wonders, so it could be something with that. I don't know if like they want to trap her and like marry her, you know, so that like they get their engagement after all. I feel like Gwendolyn is definitely more of a threat than she presents herself to be. And I think, again, that could have been why she was intentionally saying stuff without hiding herself, because we saw afterwards with her stealth that they can disguise themselves really, really easily if they need to. They're a rogue, and like these shadows kind of envelop them and just hide her to perfection. And then her whole thing at the end, you know I'm a sucker for a transformation, but just a transformation from this like pink-haired Glinda, like, you know, fairy, like, haha, I'm so happy, till this like punk rock, like, what do you want, Mika? Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited just to figure out what their whole real goal is, you know? I'm super pumped for that. And then the other one that shocked me, like, because it took me a quick sec to like go on to what was happening, and then I was like, wait, what the F are we doing right now? And Hera had that whole moment. First of all, amazing. They were amazing this whole episode. Love him. A champ among champs. And Hera had this whole thing at the end where he's talking to Advisor, and he's basically being like, I can't do this. This is too much. Like, I just keep saying the wrong thing. I'm stuttering. I'm making a fool of myself. And you're kind of like, oh, poor baby. But then you're watching it and you're realizing, like, wait, that's not his voice. Like, it's a completely different accent. And now I'm so confused, because when you couple that with everyone being like, oh, he's so different from Pillar Boy and all that, and he looks so different, is it the prince, or did he get like body swapped or something like that, or did the prince really die when Hob like took over and fought him, and this is a guy that they've just put in place to be like, hey, look, we didn't actually kill the prince? Because I feel like he's full on like playing a character. Because the other thing is, when he was having that breakdown of being like, I'm having such a hard time with everything, like, not only was the voice different, but his cadence was completely different too. Like, he wasn't stuttering, he wasn't stumbling anymore, he wasn't awkward. Yeah, he was talking a lot and overwhelmed, but like, it wasn't that like bumblingness that we have come to know about in here. So I think that they are not who they're saying they are, and Advisor knows they have a mission here, but I don't know what exactly he's pulling. And I just feel like, realizing that like the accent was different, I was like, what are you up to? Like, there's so, like, this episode ended, and coupled with that and then the whole thing about Gwen, I was like, I need to pace. Like, it was just so intense and honestly astounding. I'm just like, the many secrets that we get hinted at is, I just want to know it all right now. And there's something going on with Chirp, that he is intentionally pursuing her. So I don't know what that's going on with. Chirp and Squawk are actually the two like most forward fronting, like what you see is what you get kind of thing. They've been like, you know, like, we want to find a love match. Like, they didn't tell people that's because of their grandpa, but like, they're doing their best to stay straight and on the narrow. I loved this scene when they were trying to figure out a way to have the advantage against Rue when they were coming over to talk, and they were like, we should cut the chair that they're gonna sit in, so then they're lower than us. And that whole scene of just, I love them so much, and I love their dynamic. I love that they truly love each other. And like, the whole scene when they were fighting the heart, Chirp was about to like win and get the antler off, but she was like, Squawk really needs this, so like, she was letting him be like, oh, I need help, I need so much help. Like, that was just so amazing. I really am worried for them. Like, their bet is hard. I thought their bet was just gonna be, don't hook up with anyone that you're not going to marry, but now they actually have to find someone that falls in love with them and that they're also in love with, which I think is a huge big task. And the only one that they've really, well, I mean, Rue seems like they're somewhat interested in Squawk, and then Chirp and Hera obviously have a flirtation going on, but I don't know if either of those will ever come out to anything. But yeah, I just feel like the cousins, even though they're like on paper the most chaotic and just birds, you know, birds, like, they're the ones that are actually being the most straightforward right now and like keeping to their goals, whereas everyone else has things that they're hiding. Even Wovey had a whole thing that I was not expecting. So I'm just so excited. I do have to say, my favorite part of this whole episode, though, it's not even a character part. It's just when Brennan ate the peacock feather and then everyone was dying laughing, and Omar had to continue his turn and was just like, so, like, just the way he said it was so funny. It made me laugh so hard.
Oh my god. So
if they had just been like, yep, cut the episode right there, like, no one can follow that up, it would have been so good. But yeah, there's just so many questions and theories. So please, please, please tell me what you're thinking down below about Gwen, who's Bink now, right, is her real name? Or Gwen, I don't know which one's her real name. And Hera, because like I said, I think they're like a changeling potentially, or he's just not the real prince. And we also haven't seen his sister, which is interesting to me, who's supposed to also be there. I'm so excited. Like, I feel like this is exactly what I wanted of just like, it feels like some moments you're like, wait, where is this going? And then you realize like, oh, there's like 5 other things that you don't realize that are happening behind the scenes, and it's just so amazing. I'm so proud of Emily too with her double nat 20s on the heart to get the heart. I'm so happy for Chirp, and that she's sharing it with, and Hera also has me a little concerned because he seems to be wanting to pursue Chirp for some particular reason, and I don't really know why, which is also concerning. Love that Rue had a whole new outfit and that they did a new illustration for it. And yeah, I think I was just most surprised by the Rue and Captain Hob stuff. It was very sweet, and I think Captain Hob is someone who he's a person who doesn't fully fit in the court that he's a part of, and he protects these people and he has honor and is very, you know, an honorable man like that, but these people don't respect him in a way, and I feel like in a way they'll never get him and he'll never get them because they're just kind of different. So it was nice to see him connect to someone else and for Rue to also kind of open up more, but I still don't know what exactly that whole thing was about. So it's definitely something to keep my eye on. I think it was really, really sweet and cute, and I also loved Gwen and then Hera teaming up. Like, and Hera's lines are just so funny, but like now I feel like it's just this calculated buffoonness, so I don't trust it, but I'm still gonna laugh at it. So yeah, if you have seen this episode, please feel free to leave your thoughts and your theories. Please help me out, guys, with the theories, because my head is scrambling trying to figure it all out. So yes, please help me out and leave your thoughts and theories down below in the comments. Also, make sure this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!